tutorials.
We will be making
Dun dun dun!
We will be making another denim reconstruction from a jeans to a skirt, and we did one last week, and this one is our second variation, and next week we will have another variation, and then the week after that another. So we're going to have a total of 4 variations. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so last week we did a jeans to skirt reconstruction. We did something like this. Actually, this is not the one we did last week. We did something like this. This is the one we actually did, and it wasn't last week, it was Wednesday. We did that one. And today we're going to be doing something different. Looks like this. And we're going to be using these pants. Okay, last time we did a reconstruction, we did it where it was like a mini skirt on top and a little frilly on the bottom. But we used pants that were where the legs were in good condition. They were just a little bit short. These pants, however, have holes in the knee. So we cannot do it the same way that we did the reconstruction last week. We're going to have to do something different. So I'm going to show you what I do when I have pants with the holes in the knees. And we're going to start off with first cutting the legs off. One moment. Okay, we're just going to cut them off right here, just above the, you see right here, this U area where the crotch is. We're going to cut the legs off just above that right here, just like we did the last time. And I'm going to do that. And then after we do that, we're going to have to, these pants are a lot thicker than the last one, so I'm going to have to do it like this. And then I'm going to have to cut off the front. So the back first and then the front. So I'm going to have to do that. And now that I got the legs cut off, we're going to set this aside. Set this aside over here, and we're going to work with the legs. And we're going to do just like we did the last time. We're going to cut the hem off of the legs. And then we're going to open up the seams. Actually, I'm going to turn it on the wrong side out. I'm going to cut the seams off, just like we did when we did the last reconstruction. And after we do that, we're going to cut the pant where the hole is. To cut that off the front. We're going to do that on both sides. So let me get these seams off right quick. Okay. Now we're going to work with this. We're going to cut this area right here where the hole is. Let me go ahead and zoom in some so you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better. One moment. Okay, this area right here is what we're going to cut off because we have that hole right there. And we're going to cut it off on this side as well, that section. And now we're going to have to make these two sections the same. So what I'm going to do is take this one and this one, I'm gonna lay this one on top. I'm gonna lay this one on top of this one, and I'm going to actually like this, even it out right here in this area. Let me get a marking utensil so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So what I'm gonna do is actually cut all of this off. Cut all of this off. And what I'm doing is I'm turning these into panels. Now if you're this part, if one part is too short, if you get it together and you realize that it's too short, you can always use the longer panel and add, which would be this one. You can always use the long, if I can get it into the lens. See, this one is longer than that one. Now this skirt that I'm making for Beauty, her skirts aren't that long because she's only 4 years old, so her skirts are pretty short. So they could actually work. See that? If I can put it here so you can see what I'm doing. Let me come out some more. One moment. Okay. Now, this is the short one. This is the long one. Now, if I were to put this on her skirt like that, because this is the way we're going to do it, take out a little bit for the hem, it's still the right length because this is the skirt she normally wears. It's still the right length, so I can work with that. However, if this was too short, I would go with the longer piece and I would add a contrasting fabric into this because you're going to need 8 panels. So I would add a contrasting fabric to this to make it longer. But however, since this is actually not too short, what I'm going to do is just shorten this long piece to match this short piece. And we're going to do that 8 times. So we're going to have this, which is 1, 2, and then the back of this one, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, and 7, and 8. I'm going to go ahead and make those panels, and then I'll be right back and show you what to do next. Okay, I'm back and I cut out my panels. I have 1, 2 from the front left leg. There's 3, 4 from the back of the left leg. 5, 6 from the front of the right leg. And 7 and 8 from the back of the right leg. So what you're basically doing is you cut out the part of the leg where there's a hole, you cut that out, and then you make your 2 panel pieces the same size. Now if you have a pair of pants that you want to do this way that does not have a hole in the knee, all you have to do is basically cut your pant leg in half. And then these panels will actually be longer. And then you trim them up to make sure that they're all the same size, like this. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these panels and sew them together. So we're going to sew them on the side like this, just like this. And after we sew all these panels together, in the end we're going to wind up with one long tube that we're going to sew onto this. So let me go ahead and sew my panels together, and then I'll be back and we'll show you what it looks like next. Okay, now I'm back. I sewed together, actually let me turn it this way so you can tell. I sewed all of the panels together. This is the inside and this is the outside. And the next thing that I need to do is I need to finish off these seams so they won't unravel, so they won't ravel up, because these are denim. They will probably get like a soft fray there, so you don't have to finish them if you don't want to, but I'm going to finish them with a decorative stitch so I can have like some designs going down here on the side. And I think I'm going to do that with some purple embroidery thread so you guys can see what I'm doing. So after I finish off these seams, we're going to take this and sew it onto here. And it's a little bit wide, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, my plan is to put a little bit of pleat right here and a pleat right here, and well, actually in the back. I'm going to pleat it in the back. I'm going to make sure that when the seams line up right here, and make that same line up here and this same line up here, and I'm going to put a little pleat right here in the back like this, and I think that'll be cute. But if you don't want to put the pleat, you don't have to. You can actually measure this and make sure that your panels fit exactly. So you're going to measure the circumference of this bottom part right here, and you want 8 panels, so you're going to go ahead and divide that by 8, and you're going to add 1 inch for seam allowance, and whatever that comes out to is how wide you're going to make your panels. But either I'm going to do the pleat or I'm going to gather it. I haven't decided yet, but because I did want it to have a little bit of a gather, I might go ahead and just gather it and make it fit to the skirt like we did the last one. And then we're going to sew it around the edge and finish the hem, and we're done. So let me go ahead and finish off these seams, and then I'll be back and show you guys what it looks like. One moment. Okay, I'm back, and what I basically did is I sewed down the seams to finish them right here. This is the outside. This is the inside. I'm going to turn it on the inside. Maybe you can actually see it better than you could on the outside, but I did a little decorative stitch of hearts right there on all of the seams so it won't fray on the ends. And I also decided I wanted to go ahead and gather this and put it onto the skirt, so I did my 3 gathering, I did 3 gathering stitches here. Let me bring it up to the camera closer. That's what those are. And 1, 2, 3. I did 3 because sometimes you can do 1 or 2 to make the gathering stitches, but technically you're supposed to make 3 of those. So there's 1, 2, and then there's 3. And what I'm going to do is, let me zoom out some. One moment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top strings, all 3 of them at the same time, and I'm going to pull them to make an even gather all around the skirt. So I'm going to pull these, and I'm going to you know, push the gather around and pull these and push the gather around until I get them all the way, get it completely gathered to fit this around here. And then I'm going to sew it to here, and I'm going to hem it, and then after I do that, I'm done with the skirt. Maybe a little bit of embellishment on there, something like that, and then I'm done with the skirt. Well, let me go ahead and put you guys on pause so you don't have to sit here and watch me gather this for 20 minutes. It's probably going to take me 20 minutes because this is denim and it's pretty thick. It's a lot thicker than the other denim skirt that we did the last time. So I'm going to go ahead and deal with that, and I'll see you guys in a few. Okay, I'm back, and I actually went ahead and gathered the skirt. I finished the seams. I showed you guys that already. I gathered the skirt, and I went ahead and sewed it to the top already. And what I did was I matched up this seam to one seam, this seam to the back seam, and I matched up a seam to the side seam here, and a seam here to this side seam when I gathered it all up to make sure it fit. And when you do it this way, I have not ironed it yet, so I need to go back and iron it down and take out the gathering stitches. But as you can see the difference, when you do it this way, you still have the length, but you have more length, but it's not as frilly at the bottom as this one is. So you, and I also have to finish the hem. I didn't say that. So you have the option. This is what it looks like when we, the one we just did, because this one had holes in the knees, so we could not exactly use all of that fabric, but this is what it looks like that way. And this is what it looks like when we can use all of the fabric. And here is the one that we actually did last week, and you can see that this one has a little bit more ruffle at the end as well. So that is the difference between this one and this one. We use the entire length of the leg, and I'm actually going to put the link to that other video into the description box so you can see what I'm talking about if you haven't seen. Actually, no, I'm going to put the link right there, and you can click on that, and you can see the difference between this skirt that we made last week and the one that I'm making this week, what I'm talking about when I say we did not get to use the entire length. But what I'm going to do now is finish the hem, take out these gathering stitches with the with my handy dandy seam ripper, and on top of that I'm going to top stitch this down so it won't come up on us when we're wearing it. It'll lay better, and then I'll be done with it. So I guess I'll come back and show you guys, because I haven't exactly decided what I want to do with the hem. I could either do it like we did the last time and just put a decorative stitch down here and let this fray out, or I can do it like this one, which is basically a 1/4 inch seam like we normally do. Or I could put some ribbon or a contrasting fabric down here to give it a little bit more color, because I did use the pink embroidery thread, but I'm thinking maybe it needs a little bit more color to it. So I may put some binding down here, or some ribbon. I haven't decided yet. So I'll decide all of that, finish this skirt, and then I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like completely finished. Okay, I'm back again, and I've actually ironed down the seams. You can tell how nicely they lay now, right here and right here, as opposed to what they looked like before. And you know, a lot of times the difference between handmade and homemade is what the seams look like on the sides, and right here and right here, because this is a seam right here. Because I ironed that, all of those are seams right there. Because I ironed it, if you did not have this decorative stitching down the side, you wouldn't even know that there was a seam there, unless you were really this far away from it. You would not know that was a seam, because I ironed down my seams to make them lay flat. And also what I did is I thought about what to do to the end. My oldest daughter said she would distress that for me. I really don't have the patience to distress outfits. It takes a couple of hours just to distress the bottom. So because she's going to do that for me, I just went ahead and I did a decorative stitch right here, the same one. I have hearts going down the side, and I have hearts going down here, and she's going to take the seam ripper and literally go like this until she gets the frayed edge at the bottom. And that, I don't have the patience to do that, just to get that for a couple of hours. But she said she would do it, so you may see a picture of this on the Facebook group when she's done with it. No, you will see a picture of this in the Facebook group when she's done with it. There will be a description, link to the Facebook group in the description box. I would put it on Instagram, but Instagram has not worked on my camera for about 3 months now. Even with the recent update, it still does not work. I've sent several emails and text messages to Instagram talking about it, and it still doesn't work, so I don't know. I'll put it in the Facebook group, but it won't be on Instagram anytime soon. This is the one we did today, just to compare. This is one I did last, you can tell it's a little bit shorter. This is one I did last summer. And this is the one that we did on the very last video, which came out on Wednesday. So there's this one. And that one. And the one we just completed now. So those are the different ways, and I have a third way to, actually I have 4 more ways, 2 more ways. This way, I did this. This was the first method for turning the jeans into a skirt that I like to do. This is the second method I like to do. And in next week I'll have a third method where we actually make this into box pleated skirt. Excuse me, guys. And then after that I have another method that I would like to show you. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around so I can look at you and talk to you guys, and I'll see you in a few minutes. I said I was going to turn the camera around and talk to you guys, but I'm actually going to show you, just in case you want to know, how we're going to take this seam ripper and distress this hem. So basically you just take the seam ripper and you pull at the threads like this, and eventually, and I've actually did this little section for about, let me zoom in some more. I actually did this little section here. Come in focus. There we go. I actually did this little section right here for about 5 minutes before I even turned the camera around. Turned the camera on it and zoomed in. This takes a really long time, but if you have the patience to do it, you see that? How it's fraying the denim? And if you have the patience to do it, it comes out to a really nice edge. So if you really want to see what the end result is going to look like, I would suggest joining the Facebook group, and it'll probably, this picture may go up with the completed skirt, Beauty wearing the completed skirt, in about a week, because this takes a while to do that. You see that? But if you have the patience to do it, you see how it makes a really nice frayed edge down there. And then when you put it in the laundry, it fluffs up really nicely, and it just gets softer and fluffier and softer and fluffier after every wash. But it takes a really long time. So you see, I haven't actually gotten anywhere on the video. As long as I've been talking to you guys, haven't gotten too much anywhere on it. But for some reason my daughter likes to do this, so I'm gonna, my oldest daughter, not Beauty. I have a daughter that's actually 16. She just turned 16 on the 8th, and she doesn't mind doing this. So when you do this though, make sure you don't pull out. Make sure when you're doing it, you don't get right here to your edge where you hemmed it at. And I also fold this side in, and I only work on, I fold the other side in. Okay, hold on, let me do it like this. You have it like this, and then I take this side and I fold it in, so I can only work on this side, one side at a time. And make sure you don't pull out this thread here, because this is what's keeping it from fraying all the way up. So you stop just maybe a milliliter. I can't talk today. A millimeter before that thread. If you're using inches, 1/16 of an inch away from that thread, and you'll be fine. But if you can tell, it's going to be really nice. You just need to keep at it, and eventually you'll have a nice fray down here. And come back into focus, camera. Camera is not in focus. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Maybe it'll focus itself. There we go. Okay, so now if you keep at it, you can see how nicely that frays up, and if you could feel it, you could see how soft that is, but you can't really touch it through the camera. But it frays up really nicely, and then when I launder it, it's going to fluff up really cute. And yeah, I'll go ahead, and also she's going to distress this one from last week as well. So when if you guys would like to join the Facebook group so you can see this completed in about a week or two, the link is in the description box. And as usual, you guys, I would like to say have fun and happy sewing. And stay tuned for next week, because we are starting to release 3 videos a week now. And I'm going to release another denim to skirt recon. It will look like actually a box pleated skirt. We're going to use this another pair of pants, and we're going to use actually 2 pairs of pants. 1 pair of pants here and another pair of pants, or you could actually use a pair of pants and some other fabric, but I prefer, when I'm doing the denim recons like this, I really like to use the fabric, 2 different colored denims, as opposed to a denim in the fabric when I'm doing the box pleated skirt. So I'll see you guys next week, and as usual, happy sewing.